We now invite John Tumino to the podium to address the class.
Good afternoon, Dr. Mahoney, Principal McElhenney, faculty and staff, family and friends, and the Bergen Catholic graduating class of 2021. It really is an honor to be up here today speaking in front of all of you on a day that I never thought would come, yet here it is. Now I aim not to be tearing up at the end of this speech, but I'm a realistic person, so I don't want to make any promises. But truthfully, I feel blessed to be in this opportunity today. I was told I joined some pretty distinguished company to be voted the commencement speaker at the Bergen Catholic graduation, led by Mr. Leonard, as Kish said, whose famous 2010 commencement speech is one of the best speeches ever given at this school's graduation ceremony. So Mr. Leonard, watch out. Now I'm sure my classmates would have asked Mr. Powers to come up and speak with me, but the entire attendance might have been having to explain how Winnie the Pooh relates to Buddhism in a 2-page paper with review questions due on Monday, and page numbers included, of course. Before attending Bergen, faith was a large part of my life. At the start of high school, I'd been altar serving since 3rd grade, helping out any way I could in my own parish of Assumption Church in Emerson, New Jersey. During these past few weeks of reflection about my time at Bergen, I've realized that this incredible place has multiplied that same faith into more than I could have ever imagined. And the day that this school, or rather a person, transformed that faith is a day that I'll never forget. 3 whole years ago, I was finishing my last scheduled final for Mr. Powers' Catholic Christianity class freshman year. I was leaving the building for the last time that school year when Mr. Powers forcibly convinced me to attend the Pipestem, West Virginia trip that he coordinated every year with the school. I reluctantly said yes as I brought up countless excuses on why I wouldn't be able to go, and it's safe to say that he did not take no for an answer. Little did I know that interaction with Mr. Powers right then and there would kickstart my passion for attending faith-based mission trips for Bergen Catholic. I would go on to attend a second West Virginia trip with Mr. Powers, and at that point I felt so close to God and almost as if there was nothing I could do to enhance my faith. But I was wrong. There was so much for me to learn and experience with my faith. And in a very similar way as that day freshman year with Mr. Powers, in February of 2020, Dr. DiMaggio forcibly convinced me to go to Peru after having doubts once again. Those are 2 faculty members who cared about me so much that they pushed me out of my comfort zone, which after thinking about it for a while, I've come to say that those 2 were my guardian angels. But I had been on 2 mission trips, so how bad could this be? Peru was a complete culture shock. During those trips, I experienced some of the most incredible memories of my life, with every trip unique in its own special way. However, there was a common theme in each of these mission trips, and that was truly seeing the wonders of God being so present with people who have so little, yet are so grateful for what they have. During our first day in Peru, Brother Casey told James, Andrew, and I something I'll never forget, something I'd like to share with you today. He said that in life we become so comfortable. We get into our bubbles of everyday life and we become obsolete to the people suffering right in front of us. Many times people avoid or overlook the less fortunate, but in reality, had I not traveled to Peru in January 2020 and West Virginia in July of 2018 and 2019, these people would have continued to exist without my small contribution. The impoverished people are content in their lives without any help, yet every time I participated in a service trip, I found that it was myself who was being impacted the most, just both spiritually and emotionally from the people I aided. I genuinely learned to appreciate all I have, because in Peru and West Virginia, I was present with the less fortunate, not just helping them. It was the interactions I shared with the beautiful people in these places that made the difference for me. It wasn't the retaining wall I built, or the walls painted, or the stellar plumbing system I installed with AJ Manning that Mr. Powers can vouch for, but it was the faith, memories, and knowledge that I gained. I showed compassion and respect to the Peruvians in their homes as I became in a completely different culture. In West Virginia, it was hard for me to even grasp that this place I was in was in our own country because of the state of poverty and the quality of life. As a whole in the U.S., I think we really ignore real-world problems because we are consumed with things that in hindsight don't matter. Before I had embarked on these missions and immersions, I had doubts whether it would be worth the time and the expense. Before the Peru trip, I was worried I was going to miss out on everything going on at home. Little did I know that my soul would have been changed, my heart and eyes opened further than it had ever been before. You see, maybe sometimes we truly take for granted just how special the atmosphere here is at Bergen. And for once, I'm not talking about the student body. The teachers at the school have pushed us, every single one of us, in the direction that is best for us. They've given us the path to success and the insight along the way. They were there with you when you had a last-minute question, when you struggled with a topic and had to come for extra help. They were there for us in one of the hardest academic years students across this nation had to ever endure. From the administration who dealt with setbacks all year long during one of the hardest academic years, or maybe the teachers who have pushed us, every single one of us. Think about the teacher and faculty member that has pushed you the most over these past 4 years. Thank them. Think about where you've ended up. Your dream college you're attending, not only because of your hard work, but because of the work somebody did for you to get where you are. Every teacher or faculty member has pushed me and my classmates over these past 4 years, and for that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. One of the many things high school has taught me is that friendships can be shown in many different ways. Whether that may be picking somebody up when they're down or chirping jokes at them every single day of high school, just about all you can imagine. It wasn't that we had any malice when we were joking around with each other, and in fact, I think it made our grade stronger. Over the past 4 years, all of us have had nicknames for our classmates that might have started freshman year and are now what they are known as. It's like if you call them by their real name, it seems foreign and out of the ordinary. You have Noodles, Scooch, Squid, Nelly, Baldo, Joey Man, Chuck, Shadow, Los, Chef, to name a few. I think I had a new nickname every single month of my 4 years here. Starting with Tumino, somehow landing on Tuflebo during our last days at Bergen. But from Ball to Totino, I have to say, nicknames are one of the many tokens of true camaraderie. It signifies a bond stronger than a natural relationship. And although every single day countless people busted my chops, I learned that imitation is the best form of banter and brotherhood. And that in all of our most animated moments throughout the years of joking around with each other, we would have made a bond so strong that they would call it a brotherhood. And if you haven't grasped the idea of the brotherhood at this point, maybe this will help. In the middle of the year, I got pretty sick, and I wound up being virtual for a few months. What I didn't anticipate was that the sickness was nothing compared to being away from Bergen for those couple of months. Regardless, on my first day back, something extremely symbolic happened, as things tend to be around here. There was a freak snowstorm that happened during the day, and it started to come down pretty heavily at the end of the school day, as we were about to leave. The bell rang, and everyone rushed away to wipe the snow away from the car and launch a few snowballs at everyone. But as we were leaving in the back entrance, that ramp was covered just enough to make it a hassle for everyone to leave. The lead car, who was Nate Camascoli, wound up getting stuck, and after a few minutes of him spinning out, he realized he wasn't going anywhere. I got out of my car to see if I could help, and as I turned back, I looked at the line to see all the other kids getting out to join me and do the same. Nate wound up pulling over to the side and eventually getting out, but that moment right there was a simple reminder to myself of just how incredible this place is. Well, classmates, look around. This is it. From wandering into the building freshman year and not knowing where to go, introducing yourself over and over to every single person in our grade, to our 7 a.m. tailgates, rattling off chants and breaking a table. Not that I would have any idea who did that. But really, this is it. We are now Bergen Catholic High School alumni. Our journey as students was just 4 short years of our long lives, a small chapter in a large book. From today on until we die, we will join a group of 12,000 people plus, meaning that the brotherhood extends far more than just 4 years. I've seen it firsthand with 2 uncles who attended Bergen, 2 people that some of their best friends till this day they met during their years here at Bergen. Lastly, parents, if I may, I'd like to address my classmates one more time. My brothers, I need you to do one small favor for me. Doesn't matter whether it's on the drive home today or maybe you've already done it, but I need you to do one small favor. Sit down with your parents or your guardians, whoever made the sacrifice to send you to Bergen Catholic. Just say 2 simple words. I think you know what it is. Thank you. Think back to the day that you made your decision. Think back to your first day in the school. Think back to your first Bergen Bosco game. Think back to every single time you went to support your brothers on the field, painting up and screaming your head off for over 2 hours. Think back to every joke you ever heard in the classroom. Think about the hilarious moments at your lunch table. Think about every memory and friendship you have made because you were able to attend this school. Think about the day you fell in love with Bergen Catholic. Think about all of that and truly grasp the fact that it all could have never existed had those people not taken on the sacrifice to send you to this amazing place. They were there not only to support you financially, but to give you the opportunity that is Bergen Catholic. They invested in you, and you all stepped up to the challenge. You made the most of your opportunity since day one, working incredibly hard in both the classroom and on the field. And you did it. You graduated. I guarantee you that the people who are most proud of you for this feat are the same people I just told you to think. Let that sink in. But now it's time for a new chapter, a slightly different one. I must have heard older people tell me 1,000 times that high school is where you begin to find yourself and decide who you want to be, while college is where we all take the next step forward and put forth ourselves in the world to begin our adult lives. And so, brothers, Bergen Catholic class of 2021, I'll leave you with a quote from a man I'm sure you've all heard of. Each brother is an open letter from Christ, a message not written with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, with a faithful human heart to carry it. Blessed Edmund Rice. No matter where you end up, whether it's across the country or across the globe, from this day forward, you're a Bergen Catholic alumni. May God continue to bless and watch over you. Thank you.